Hey listeners, today I had on Zen and Soju, the anonymous co-leads of Meteora, a DeFi product originally known for its liquidity pools on Solana. Liquidity pools are tokens locked in smart contracts that can be used for financial activities that don't require centralized intermediaries. Users can deposit assets into these pools and receive yield for providing liquidity and making the system work. Meteora is also about to release its token, so it was fun timing. And this comes after an eventful year that saw the project's original co-founder resign in the aftermath of the scandal surrounding Argentinian President Javier Milei's LIBRA token. That was a mouthful of an intro. We get into all of it. It was a fun one. Let's dive in. Nothing said on Lightspeed is a recommendation to buy or sell any investments or products. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and the views expressed by anyone on the show are solely their opinions, not financial advice or necessarily the views of Blockworks. Our hosts, guests, and the Blockworks team may hold positions in the company's funds or projects discussed. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lightspeed. I'm your host, Jack Kubanek, joined today by Soju and Zen, the co-leads of Solana DeFi project, Meteora. They're feeling very zen and popping lots of Soju because Meteora's TGE is right around the corner. How's that? Awesome. Guys, welcome on the show.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah. 3 days from TGE.
3 days away from TGE. Okay. So the 23rd.
The 23rd.
The MET token comes out. I'm glad we're able to kind of do this at this timing. I feel like you don't see as many TGEs in Solana currently. There was a ton in like 23, 24, and then this year maybe fewer, right? It hasn't been as many DeFi projects TGEing.
Yep. I think, but we're very excited for ours, and I think it'll be a fun one. We have a lot of learnings from Jupe TGE and many other TGEs under my belt. So excited to use it all and do a good one for Meteora.
And so Meteora has been around for some time now on Solana, but you guys took over in the past like 6 months or so for reasons we'll get into. But I guess you guys being new to the project and maybe some of our listeners not being as familiar with Meteora, I am not sure if they've been on the pod, not while I've been hosting at least. So I just wanted to get a quick overview of like, what is the core business of Meteora? What are you guys known for? How do you make money? That kind of thing.
Yeah. We are in the core business of writing programs that handle swaps on Solana. So our core business is just liquidity pools, right? Put A, put data B. We probably have the best technological stack for liquidity pools on Solana. We iterate on it constantly. We have 4 major programs that have more than like 50, 100 million in TVL, which is quite a lot for a spot AMM. And the way we make money is that we help users print fees via our liquidity pool. And then we take a 5 to 20% cut on the fees that they made. Our average take rate now is about 9.7% or so. So the 5% pool is being used more than the 20% pools. Yeah.
Okay. And you have as opposed to an AMM or a CLMM or whatever, you guys have a DLMM. Can you explain a little bit about that technology and why it's, I guess, superior to other forms of market maker that exist?
Yeah. All our programs start with the letter D, so everything is dynamic something. But the DLMM is our most well-known protocol, and that is because it is used by our entire community, the LP Army, to print fees. And the reason why it's very good at helping retail print fees is that it was the first program released with dynamic fees, allowing retail to maximize fees in volatility. And it also gives the retail a lot of power to choose the range, starting range, ending price, distribution between each price point. Our subsequent products, DBC and DAMM V2, are more catered towards being coin teams launching tokens. So those are more used by Jupiter Studio and our partner Launchpads. The DLMM is also used for like large-scale token launches. So Trump, Jupe, and Kanye West Yeezy, for example, are 3 coins that use the DLMM stack.
Yeah. Another thing about DLMM is also that it concentrates the liquidity and the range, right? So we can actually set, like people who are launch a token can set a specific range, so it becomes more capital efficient, you call it. So users can get more fees, right? Because usually you won't set to 0 to infinity, right? Then a lot of the liquidity are wasted not earning fees. So having that concentration also helps a lot in terms of helping us to help our LPs earn fees, and indirectly we also get a cut out of it.
Gotcha. And the way I've understood automated market makers, AMMs, historically, is that they have this impermanent loss problem, which is that the price of the asset is determined by an equation, and basically that requires AMMs to be more passive than, say, something like a centralized exchange, which has very quick pricing. And so these LPs essentially lose out based on how slow the AMMs are to price assets. Does DLMM sort of solve for that impermanent loss problem that LPs typically have had in DeFi, I guess?
I think like the big reason why LPs are passive is because of the chain itself. The chain sort of limits you from how much you can adjust for liquidity and all that. So on Ethereum, for example, you will have to then a transaction to withdraw liquidity and then another transaction to deploy liquidity again. That's 2 transactions, and in Ethereum, them can add out to be quite a lot in gas fees. The way DRMN solves this problem is with dynamic fees, which is when volatility increases, impermanent loss also increases, and thus your trading fee should also increase. So in high volatility, Meteora's pools all increase in fees, while other passive AMM's fees might not change. This is very similar to how a market maker widens or narrows its quotes on a centralized exchange. And we brought that functionality passively to liquidity providers on Meteora via dynamic fees. So you don't need to do anything. You just automatically widen and narrow, similar to what a market maker does manually. Yeah.
Although it doesn't directly solve the IL problem, there will still be IL, but the fees that is generated more often than not can cover the IL and they can earn actually more. Yeah. So that's how we look at it.
Okay, interesting. Maybe just to conclude this section, like for people who hear about AMMs and LPing and all these DeFi terms and their head explodes a little bit, could you just like walk me through? Say I'm a user and I want to be an LP on Meteora. What does that look like from the user's point of view? Where like how am I actually earning yield, and where is that yield coming from?
So when you come to Meteora, there's a different products right at the start. We have the dynamic AMM as well as the DLMM. Right. If you are a new user, most of the time we are encouraged that you try out our dynamic AMM first because it's much simpler for you to actually do the LP. Because for dynamic AMM, all you need to do is to select the pool that you're interested in, right, and deposit your funds into the pool itself, right. For DMM, you need to actually deposit 2 sides of the pool, so you need to have both tokens and deposit it, right. And after that, you just leave it, and then if the token does well or the pool does well, then you start to see your fees accumulate. And actually for DMV2, you can actually see on the UI itself the amount of fees that you are accumulating, and you can just claim it, right, now and then, right, and you see that. For DLMM, right, those are actually a little bit more advanced, right. So because it's more, there are a lot more strategies that you can deploy, right, in order for you to maximize your profits. Right. So for DLM, you need to select the pool, of course, and then you can choose to do a single site kind of deposit, right? And you can choose different strategies like bid ask, spot, what the one? Curve. Yes, curve. So there are different strategies for different scenarios. I will not jump into all those, right? But for those people interested, we can go to the bootcamp or lparmy.com, where there will be a lot of different strategies, and a lot of our LP Army veterans will be able to share more with them. So that is how, right, I see a journey for LP, depending on whether you are a new person try to start your journey on LPing, or you are more advanced, then you can try out DLMM.
Okay, and so to put that very simply, it's like you're taking some asset and you're putting it in this pool, and then basically when other people want to trade the assets in that pool, if it's within the range of liquidity that you're providing, you'll receive fees on that. That basically come from the user trading. Is that a very fair, simple way to put it?
Yep. We can look at it as like, as a retail user on Solana, you have 2 options. You have one option: open a Phantom wallet buy the meme coin resonates with you the most, hope it goes up. Meteora LP Army provides the other option, which is instead of being the one that buys the meme coin and hopes that it goes up, you can be the one that earns fees from all the activity. So both things sort of bet on the same thing, which is someone else trading the token. But Meteora LP Army provides you the education, the support, the infrastructure to learn how to leverage that speculative traders to make like sort of like fees every day in sort of like a controlled manner. Instead of just buying a coin and hoping that it'll go 100x, you can provide liquidity and earn 100x slowly every day for like a year. And we have like 10,000 LP Army members at least who show up every day and participate with each other to do that together. And we have hundreds of success stories, and we call upon more people to join us and be part of that journey at lparmy.com. Yeah.
Interesting. I am not yet part of the LP Army. That's why my questions here are a little basic, but thank you for walking through that a little bit. I wanted to touch on just the past year of Meteora. As you know, listeners who are deeper in the Solana world listening to this episode probably are familiar with Meteora's, I guess, co-founder, Ben Chao, resigned back in February in the wake of the Javier Milei's Libra token, the president of Argentina. There was like a video that was leaked, a whole bunch of stuff that was kind of came out. I guess the most color that we got from this was from Meow, who's the I guess co-founder of Jupiter. He also co-founded Meteora alongside Ben, and basically said that there were some lapses from Ben. We didn't get a lot more specificity than that on what exactly happened, but Ben resigned, and it was announced that Meteora would be looking for new leadership, which I guess is you guys. So I just want to hear from your perspective, like, what has the process been like taking over Meteora? Soju, I know you were at Jupiter prior. That's kind of how I had heard of you and interacted with you online and stuff. So just take us behind the scenes a little bit of that journey of Meteora losing its co-founder, and now 6 months later going to this approaching this TGE.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's been a crazy 6-7 months, I would say. In fact, we just had to have a meeting with the team, right? Just like walking back in time, right? From the very first time when Soju and I came back. I say I came back because prior to the whole incident, I was actually part of the founding team for Meteora, and I left to join Jupiter. So when that whole thing went down, it's sort of I decided I'd come back because I have understanding of the product and the team as well. So I wanted to come back to see how I can help to stabilize the whole situation, right? Of course, the very first thing that we needed to do when we first came on board was to stabilize the ship, right? And to ease the nerves of the community and the team. Yeah, so that's the first thing we did. So we revamped our entire community cost structure, and we listened to the community. We came up with a series of proposals based on some of the feedback or some of the questions or uncertainties the community have. So that was actually what we spent majority of the first few months doing.
Yeah.
Right. Really was to listen to the community and working with the community to see how we can stabilize the ship for the first few months. Right. So that happened, and I think that went, I would say, pretty well, right, for first few months. So we came out of that pretty on top, and we have the community alignment there. Yeah, so everybody was very in tune. And another key thing is that we learned to also, at that point of time, from a team perspective, to really focus back on what brought us where we are in the first place, which was product, right? Many a times we were too caught up, right, in a lot of other things, including token launches and whatnot. So that also gave us the impetus to say, hey, let's strip away all this additional noise, right, and focus back on what we are great at, which is creating product and innovation. So that's how the whole dynamic bonding curve was born.
Yeah.
Right. And then we focus on that as well. So after the first phase, second phase was really on the offense, right? So we started to go on the offense. We create products and aggressively attract new entrants into the space, like launch pads, and then working on processes to make sure that we give our new launchers or partners the kind of support, right, without overstretching ourselves or overextending ourselves. And so focus on product was one of the best things we did.
Yep.
And then we grew quite a lot from that. And the team was very focused. And so that's how we progressed all the way to today, where we felt that, okay, now from a product point of view, community sentiments point of view, I think we are ready for a TG, which was something that the whole community was asking for since I don't know when, right? So I think it's really, and it's not so much of raising funds because we are not raising a single cent from this TGE. It's really about community, right? About giving back to the community and then showing appreciation to all those stakeholders who have supported us throughout the journey, including the Meteora stakeholders. So we have a lot of stakeholders, the Meteora stakeholders, Drip stakers, the Launchpad partners, LP Army. There are a lot of people who really help us along the way to get past the 6 months. So TG is our way of saying thank you very much, and also explains a lot of how we designed the TG, which we'll not touch on. We'll touch on later.
Yeah.
But basically, this is my take on the journey from what that happened all the way to like 3 days from TG, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy, in my opinion. Yeah.
And Zen, were you also at Jupiter before joining Meteora?
Yes, I was also part of Jupiter. I was focusing more on product side of things, right? Working with the product team to launch, all the products and routers and whatnot. Yeah.
And you mentioned like this focus on product over the past 6 months. Like, what has tangibly changed about, or I guess maybe I should say, like, have you made tangible changes around the Meteora product, or is it just kind of sharpening the existing offerings?
It's both. It's both, right? So on one hand, in the past 6 months, we actually launched a dynamic AMM version 2, right, which incorporates a lot of new features and functionalities that we are based on user feedback. Like we have been working very closely with a lot of our partners and users, and that actually consolidated and came out as V2, right? But I will not take credit for V2 because V2, the plan for V2 came before us, right? Really before us. Like the team actually did a lot of work to make sure that it was all the features, everything was built, right? It was to nudge it and then launch it, right? Because that was the thing. And we also launched the DBC, which was also a tangible product, which actually took our product line or extend our product line and then help us to actually attract a new group of like partners in terms of launchpads, which was extremely important for our overall kind of mission, right? Which is to create tokenized future for crypto, right? Was that the question? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good amount to get done in 6 months, I would say. I'll put a pin in this topic in a second, but I just kind of want to give you all the opportunity because I think that a lot of people will listen to this pod and the Melee scandal, the Libra token scandal, really left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And they may look at Meteora and say, hey, the co-founder had some kind of dealing with Hayden Davis, the sort of scammer behind Melee or whatever it was. And so Meteora is a scam. We can't trust it. There's bad people running it. All that. Like I can see these CT comments, coming out. So I just want to give you an opportunity to respond to, like, if there's people out there who feel like they don't trust Meteora because of all the drama around Libra, like what would you say to those folks?
I think like we must remember that who that drama affected the most. It was our most loyal community members. The ones who were closest to Meteora were the ones that affected the most. So I was telling Zen that like there are sort of two affected people. The people who actually got affected because they trusted the team, bought tokens because of the team, provided liquidity on the tokens. Those are the very important ones. And everyone else is people who just never heard of Meteora, they only heard of Meteora when doing that scandal and never cared about Meteora ever again, and sort of never kept track of what happened since then. So the thing that is something that we are quite happy with is that like the people who lost a lot of money, the people who got affected the most, those people are now the core of our community. Because in the first 3 months of us being at Meteora, we changed a lot of things, we improved a lot of things, and we really showed these people that we are really trying to do what looks right for the team, for the protocol, for them. And we sort of turn around Meteora for them. Like we wanted to turn around Meteora to deliver value to them. We modified the airdrop and TG plan to bring value to them nonstop. If those people who lost money can trust Meteora again, I don't see why the people who didn't lose money and just saw Meteora on like the viral tweets can't trust us again and like move forward with us. And like that's what I will say to them. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like, where is the marginal user for Meteora? I guess on that same topic, because you mentioned a lot of you were able to retain a lot of the core community after Ben left, and you had this leadership transition. Where do you see Greengrass to like continue to grow? Is it sort of you made this pitch earlier, Soju, about meme coin buyers that like you could just buy and wait for your meme coin to 10x, or you could try to earn yield on that meme coin. Is that the type of person that you're going after?
Actually, right now, where we believe the marginal user is people who like Solana, people who love Solana and want to see Solana to be the home of like future of capital formation, experimentation, and market, sort of like the Solana ICM team. So the reason why I say that is because one of our most important partners, Beef, launched like 4 months ago now. And when Beef launched, it spurred this entire new audience of people who believe in crypto because it brought money to people who didn't have access to capital. And that's where I'm going to double down at the very least as the spear of Meteora. That will be what unlocks new product offerings, unlocks new opportunities for the team. When ultimately, all we have to do as a team is to bring opportunities to our retail LP army. So that is where we're going to create new opportunities. And what this will create is new users in terms of people who provide liquidity on these coins, and new people who will work with us to tokenize things that you can't even imagine we'll have on Solana 6 months from now. So that's where I see the marginal users right now. Other than that, like we're gonna double down on like just growing the LP army, like constantly doubling down, make it bigger, make it stronger, make them make more money. But that I think we both see that as like 20% a year annualized growth. Like it will steadily grow strongly. But the wild card, sort of like the 10x or 100x, is going to come from capital markets. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also like people from Jupiter, all those traders who are familiar with DeFi, but either haven't really explored LPing or are a little bit skeptical or a bit afraid, right? Because they might feel it's too complex, right? Trading is so simple, right? It's exchange. So we feel like these are marginal users. So that's why that's why the token TG is also one way to actually get to get eyeballs and to attract these users that are on the margin, to get them to come in to explore and to learn for themselves what LP is about, and give them an opportunity to see that they can join LP army. So that's also one of the key areas that we're focusing on as well.
Yeah. So speaking of the token, there are many tokens, famously in crypto. Why should people care about MET?
I think people should care not about the token. People should care about our vision and our mission. They should care about what we're gunning for and whether they believe that whether we are the ones that can make it happen. I think the thing about our mission is that like it's very well accepted. Like we want crypto, we want the future to be tokenized. We want there to be 1,000 different types of tokens. We want it to all be on Solana. We want them to be all on Meteora. Like almost everybody in crypto believes in that future. Maybe not the part about Solana or Meteora, like some people will say Ethereum or whatever, but we all believe in the same future. What I want to share the story is that like I want them to believe that it'll be Solana and it'll be Meteora. And then if they agree, they should hold the token and be part of that journey.
Yeah. So we see the token as a alignment tool, right? And a tool to actually get people, like we mentioned just now, on the margins, right, to come in so that we get 10x the LPRME. So I keep telling the communities that the more we grow, like a pie, right, the bigger pie, everybody wins, right? The more LPs, more people providing liquidity, the launchpad wins, the token team wins, and we create a flywheel. So the way to do it is through a TG as well as a token, and to make sure that our mission and our values are clearly defined, and we don't focus so much on a token, right? The token is just a means to the end. It's not an end by itself. Yeah.
Will there be like revenue or like value accrual to the token from like buybacks or something like this?
No, not at this point of time. We are not looking at token utility or whatnot, right? So at least for this period of time, for TG is really focusing on alignment, right? And as a way for people to buy into what we are doing, right? That's it.
Is there like a Meteora like is there governance implications, or is this truly just like a meme coin essentially?
Right now,
Or
it's
not meme
it's
coin,
just
but alignment coin, I guess.
okay. Right now, it's just alignment and coordination coin. We're gonna use the coin to sort of coordinate pushes towards the tokenized future as well. So you can expect to see the coin in like sort of either in incentives or in like coordination mechanisms. I don't think we'll have a DAO. I think if we do stuff in the future, it'll be from the team. But I think that what's important for us is that like we are still aligned. Just because we have no buybacks does not mean that we're not aligned with the token. We don't have an equity entity. We are a team of like DeFi first people. My compensation is in cash and tokens. Like ultimately, we are doing this because we believe this is the right decision for Meteora and the community as a whole, and we will get there together. Yeah.
So that's an interesting question then. Like was a Meteora token planned at the time that you guys took over, or was this something that you decided to do after taking over in charge of Meteora?
When we took over, I don't think a TG or token launch was ever top of mind, because I think we have enough on our hands at the point of time. Really about steadying the ship and then making like building the confidence back with the community was top priority. Yeah. So token wasn't the top of our discussion point. Yeah.
But Matt was already confirmed. Yeah. By that point of time, Matt has been confirmed since the very beginning. When Meteora was first rebranded, we set aside 20% of Matt for Mercurial. So since then, it was already confirmed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just never confirm what's the plan for that.
Yeah.
Just to clarify. Yeah.
No details. Yeah.
Yeah, I am recalling now seeing like, what airdrop is next and seeing Met like for a long time. So I guess it was a token that had been planned.
Yeah, we're getting when TG questions since we
don't
know when, right? Since don't know when. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm curious, like, why launch a token now? Like you've sort of mentioned marketing. This is a way to bring in people who might not understand Meteora to convince them to use the protocol or whatever. But there's a lot of crypto teams that have had much longer, I guess, points farming periods or whatever you want to call it, where you're teasing the token. Now, Meteora obviously existed before you guys took over, and I maybe had a points program or something like this. But why is now the moment? Why not delay it or something?
It just feels right to me. I don't have a very good answer for that. I think at the start, I think a lot of people were really pushing for TG, right from the beginning, right, like 3 months in, right, 4 months in. For me, I always look at it from a perspective of course, number one is the community sentiment, and number two is product readiness. What do we want to showcase to the world when we announce a TG? Because we know when we say TG, right, there will be a lot of eyeballs, there will be a lot of people come in. So are we ready to welcome the world to see what Meteora is about? Are we ready to onboard all the new users that are interested in exploring what Meteora has to bring? Are we able to scale up in a way that we can support 10x of the people who are coming on board to check us out or to claim the token or whatnot? I want the perfect first impression for these people. So that's why I keep delaying, pushing back, not because for fun, right? But because I feel we weren't ready before. And today I feel that the team and the product and the infrastructure are all mature enough for us to embark on this TG. And I still think TG is extremely important, right? Also to bring in the next 10x of users. So that's my answer for why now. Yeah.
And what I think for me is one quick thing to add is that like I think everyone on Solana sort of feels it. Like we found a pretty good PMF for the chain, which is like ICM. Our community is very hyped up about it. Like, and this is like the next stage for DeFi and crypto. So for me, one of the reasons right now is that like we sort of finally figure out what Meteora's technology is really good for. Like if you're just launching another meme coin, you might not see the reason to use Meteora's technology. But we are at these curbs of like leveraging permissionless asset creation for capital markets instead of moving away from permissionless asset creation for like meme coins. Like we are seeing that shift right now, and it's the right time, in my opinion, to go out, hit it hard, 10x the community, 10x our creators, 10x our community, help new teams experimenting with capital markets go crazy on Solana, and then sort of like tip over this scale of like ICM and make sure they all happen on Solana right now. Yeah.
And also because I'm sick of the question of NTG.
There's a bit of it. A bit.
Yeah, well, you know, there's going to be no engagement bait left for Meteora after this. Nothing for the Kaido bots to spam, you know, at you guys. What's your approach to tokenomics? I'm curious to ask.
Yeah, I think we have a pretty crazy approach to tokenomics. So just saying everything all out at once is that like Meteora is a team who doesn't need to raise money. We are blessed with revenue and don't need we have like many years of runway. So TGE is a chance for our community to eat. As Zen earlier mentioned, we have many stakeholders. So TGE is the celebration for all of them, for them to come and be part of our journey and celebrate them. So what does this mean in tokenomics? It means that anyone who has been allocated MET for any reason will receive all of their MET at TGE. There will be no vesting, no keyfin, no nothing. Everyone's fully unlocked. So what this means is we have 48% of supply unlocked at TGE, 45% is airdropped, and 3% is for centralized exchanges and market makers. So we have this like large float. And because the team isn't selling any tokens, all of the sellers on TGE itself will be the community airdrop recipients who are like, okay, I've been part of this team for 5 years. It's time for me to take my cash and leave. And we thank them for their journey, and like we are very happy that they were part of it. And for new people buying in a normal TGE, you would vest some stakeholders, and then the team would sell some tokens, make some money, and then build the project faster than people can dump on you. But for us, we have a very aligned community of people, a curated holder base. We have revenue that feeds the team, and also to keep shipping new products and growing them. And that's how we design TGE and our mechanisms. Yeah. And one more thing to add is that like to double down on this is our liquidity distributor. So in the normal TGE, the team will bootstrap the liquidity, and the liquidity will sort of be converted to tokens, USDC or cash. But for us, the airdrop recipients have chosen to be part of the launch pool. So as an airdrop recipient, you can earn fees in the Meteora launch pool, or you can just receive the tokens as direct airdrop, like claim, normal claim. And what this means is that like Meteora's main power, which is helping people make money, will then be distributed to everybody who wants to be part of this on TGE day. So it's going to be a mass printing event for the community. Yeah.
And you said 48% float at the beginning.
Yes.
That's higher than normal, right? I would think.
I'm quite sure it's the highest on Solana.
Yeah.
By far.
Why make that choice? Why go with such a high float?
Basically because we have a lot of stakeholders, right? And so we have a lot of we need to be able to allocate sufficiently to all the stakeholders. Like even before Meteora was Mercurial, so we have the Mercurial stakeholders that we have only allocated 20% of the tokens. So that's number one. Then for the LP army, we have all the point system. So we want to sufficiently reward them for actually using our product and being loyal to us, and we have the drip stakeholders. So as a TG is ready to bring all these people together, right? So we don't want to be like giving only like 10% and then try to distribute to all these people, right? So we want to sufficiently show appreciation and reward these people, and at the same time, like what Soju mentioned, we fully unlock it, right? So you have a choice whether you want to stay or you want to leave. Obviously, we love for you to stay and walk this journey with us, and so as a result, we create a tokenomics that is extremely high, like release high circulating supply. And the key goal for me is also to clear any overhang, right? There's no more monthly kind of unlocks at whatever inflation. And so, but I hope that answers the 48%. Yeah, because we have a lot of stakeholders that we need to actually cater for. That's one thing. Yeah.
And, you know, since we've talked about float, we also have to talk about FDV. I think one, I don't know if you want to call it a flaw or issue that crypto teams run into again and again is launching at a very high FDV, which I guess there's debate on how much you can even control that, because there's maybe like a market for where your the price at which your token launches. But basically, like if you launch at a super high valuation, it's hard to maintain that price action, and so your chart immediately looks really bad. Not to like name names, but 00, I think, recently struggled with this. Like,
hey, you just did.
Yeah, but I did. I mean, so very, very interesting, very cool project. Like, I think 00 is one of the most ambitious things in crypto right now. But they launched at like a 6 billion plus FDV, something like that. A very high FDV, I think, relative to the traction that the project has so far. They might disagree with this. I don't know. But how are you going to approach FDV? Like, do you think that, I mean, A, I guess, is it even in your control at all? And B, is it worth trying to launch at as low of a FDV as possible?
Yeah, I mean, our tokenomics by design already sort of nullifies the low float, high FDV thing. Like low float, high FDV together is dangerous. And the reason why it's dangerous is not the FDV on its own. It is dangerous because of inflation and FDV. If inflation is 100% a year, which most DeFi teams are at, and your FDV is $2 billion, it means that you're inflating $2 billion a year, right? So for comparison, Meteora's inflation is 20% for 6 years. So we're going from 48% to 50 to 100% in 6 years. There are zero cliffs by design. Everything is linear unlocked. So it's like every day is just a bit more, a bit more, a bit more, a bit more. So it's a very gradual effect. And because of this decision, the market has already priced like us at a lower FDV than what we could have been. If we had done the other strategy of like 5% unlock day one, and then like FDV will probably be 5 times higher, and our community wanted us to do that, but we chose to take the long-term option, which is high float, lower FDV, but like by market pricing on its own, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Like we'll be building for 6 years no matter what, so we chose the option that optimized for 6 years.
Okay, so to make sure I'm understanding, if you start with a very low float, so there's less of the tokens that are tradable at any current time, you can launch at a very high FDV because I guess the scarcity that you've created will drive up the price of the token.
Yeah.
And so having a higher float where the 50% of your token can be traded on day one, based on what you're saying, that means that it is necessarily going to create a lower FDV because it's not as scarce of a token. Okay.
Yeah, automatically.
Interesting. That feels like that's good
Obvious.
for everyone involved to do that, right? Because and I don't know. I don't want to. You know, making the number go up is not the point of a crypto startup, and shouldn't be. But when you see some of these tokens where they launch at a very high FDV and then inevitably maybe they sign some kind of predatory market making contract, the token dumps in 6 months or a year, like that's bad for everyone involved, because even the investors or the founders probably have some kind of vesting where they're not getting access to, I mean, as far as we know, they probably they probably are not getting access to those tokens until later when the price has fallen off a cliff. So like you actually, it's in everyone's best interest, I would think, to launch at a lower FDV and try to see the price of the token go up over time.
Yeah, I think the reason why it's difficult is that like crypto people are so used to like instant gratification. So for example, when we first released this, half the community hated us because that half of the community wanted to sell the tokens for as much money as they could on day one and leave. And for us is that like we are real builders trying to build technology to be used by millions of people over 6 years of time. Like like the answer became pretty obvious to us when that was the starting point of our decision. And as we talked about it more on podcasts like this, more and more of our community bought into the mission. And now I'm pretty happy to say that I think our community is pretty aligned and in agreement with this. And ultimately, that's what's important to us as well. Like community alignment and support and buy-in is very important in everything we do. And for a decision as difficult, although as obvious and as difficult as this, we're happy to have it, thankfully. Very bullish.
Yeah, because to me also, like, I mean, all along, I'm more focused on product, right? So this whole high FDV thing personally feels more like a vanity metric kind of thing. So I'm also not interested to pump a high FDV, but we are different in the sense, I believe, right? Is that we have a very strong product anchoring the whole thing. So I rather, instead of focusing on pumping up this FDV, which is more of a facade kind of thing, right? It's temporary kind of stuff. We focus back on the product, and then if we have a very like realistic expectation at the start, give us a lot of room to grow as well, right?
Yep.
So imagine if you start with like a 10 billion FDV or whatever, and then we realize that down the road, most of our energy and time will be trying to defend that.
Yeah.
Which is what I want to avoid, right? So we start low, right? And then focus on product, and then let the product speak for itself. And then I think everything will iron out, right? And that's the perfect scenario for me. Yeah.
Long term.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And again, I guess listeners will be hearing this on October 21st. I think TGE is the 23rd. So bookmark this. It'll be interesting to see how all this stuff actually plays out once the token comes out.
Yeah.
We can only control what we control, man. Yeah. We done everything we can.
Yeah.
We will see. We will see. Okay. I want to maybe broaden the scope a little bit and just ask you guys about where you think Solana DeFi is headed over time, because both of you have been around Solana DeFi for some time. When I look at Meteora, I see a project that is, on the scope of Solana, pretty old at this point, pretty kind of been around the block, and is still doing the kind of core DeFi stuff that's been around in crypto for a while. But there's so much that's changed in Solana DeFi. There's like everything is a launch pad now. We have these prop AMMs. There's just a lot of kind of, and there's this whole ICM thing that Solana's trying to collectively build towards as well, where, every asset is kind of able to be traded in this one globally shared ledger. So I don't know. I just wanted to get maybe some of your broader high level thoughts about where Solana DeFi is headed.
I think what Jeff Bezos said a long time ago sort of resonates with me. It's like Jeff Bezos made the bet that like, I do not know what the future will be, but his customers will want cheaper prices and faster delivery. I think for us is that like, we don't know where Solana DeFi will go. Many people ask me a question, but I honestly have no idea. But what we do know is our community wants to make more money, generate more fees, and our partners want even more flexibility, even more power to do shit on chain. Like, these are the two things that we know and we can guarantee for a fact that no matter how crazy the world is, these are the things that people want to have. And these are the things we double down, religiously, consistently, laser focus on. We don't chase shiny objects. Like the engineering team don't chase shiny objects. Sometimes we will hire ops people to like take a small set of resources and chase like something, which for example was ICM, and ICM paid out very well for us in the past 6 months. So those things do happen. But the engineering team will always be focused on more power to retail to make money and more power to our partners. And no matter what happens, it will work.
Yeah, I second that because facts is no matter what kind of vision we paint or what next step, not the thing that doesn't change that users just want to earn money.
Yeah.
They want to LP and know they earn money.
Consistently.
Traders want to earn money. Basically, no matter which direction we go, that's the basic stuff, right? So at Meteora, where we build liquidity pools, we don't build features or build new products for the sake of building new products. In fact, one of the core things that we want to do for the next phase is actually doubling down on our core flows, right? Making sure that what we are doing for the LPs is world-class, right? We want to build world-class flows and and features, right? So that the LPs can continue to earn fees, can continue to earn more fees, right? And then they can discover great opportunities faster, and then they can we can also protect the users better, right? And then when the LP, the chances of them optimizing profits is maximized.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are the key foundation and core things that we on at Meteora would never veer away, regardless of where Solana DeFi goes. So I think that's one thing that I think the whole thing is aligned.
Yeah, and that pragmatism has always been big in Solana. The users want fast and cheap more so than they want essays or whatever.
Yeah,
but
grand vision.
yeah, but maybe to press back there a little bit, I'm curious. Is it going to be a problem for Solana that like 2024 you had, I don't know, 500% increase in more than that, whatever. It went from $9 famously in the wake of FTX to over $300 after the Trump meme coin came out. Even if Solana really outperforms it as a percentage, in percentage terms, it's hard to imagine Solana repeating that in the coming couple of years. Who knows? But I think there's a very likely world, you could say, where we stay around the $200 mark for quite some time. And Solana isn't the shiny ecosystem that's making a bunch of people rich like it was in 23 and 24. Does that make your job more difficult? Like if you're really focused on, okay, users want better product, they want to make money, basically. They want to make more money. But Solana is no longer the place where everyone's getting rich. There's a new airdrop every couple weeks. Meme coin trenches are vibrant and full of activity or whatever. Like, does that become a problem for Solana if some of the hype kind of dies down?
I don't see it that way. I think a lot of the power comes from the projects that build on Solana, right? And even and I don't think it's so. I mean, of course, there's some association, but how well we build our product and how well we actually deliver the kind of value to our users is that there's some sort of dissociation with like the Solana token price and whatnot. Of course, there's market sentiments, but even like recently the market wasn't doing well, or even the mass liquidation event that happened, our users are still reporting positive PNLs. Right. In fact, for this kind of volatility events, some of the users actually generate more fees because of the volatility. Right. That's how we actually build our product to actually reward LPs for actually still putting liquidity into the pool even when things are not looking great. Right. So we want to build systems that actually reward them. And I still think that it's extremely important to have this very thick liquidity layer, because without that, Solana or any crypto cannot function, right? Liquidity is the foundation across any other protocols or systems, right? That's built on the chain. So I feel we should just continue on this trajectory, right? On focusing on our core competencies and build and focus on users. Yeah. So I'm not. I don't believe that the future is so bleak, right? And there's still a lot of potential. And I really love to build on Solana because not so much of a token price or whatever, but because of its tech, right? Its infrastructure, right? The reason why we started on Solana back in 2021 is because it is extremely flexible, right? So it allows us to easily build on it. And of course, performance, right? Is it's cheap, right? So that gives us a lot of leeway to build really innovative products. And that's not going to change anytime soon. And we focus on that, and we will continue to collaborate with Solana, see how we can build even greater products using the infrastructure.
Yeah. But that's always been Solana's strong point, right, Jack? Like everyone watching this podcast, we all know this. Solana has got this far because it has amazing teams who just focus every day on making their apps better, faster, cheaper, Sometimes in competition with each other, like motivating each other. Sometimes in competition with people outside of Solana. And I'm quite sure that if we keep focusing on that, and don't let that spirit die, and I don't ever feel complacent that we've made it on Solana pump 500%. We just keep going. I think the future will continue to be okay or bright for Solana builders, and I think we all lean very strongly for that. Yeah.
But just to add on, like you mentioned about the $9 period, the FTX thing. What really touched me, right, was that all the bad actors left, right? Whatever. But all the core engineers came together organically to build OpenBook. Is it?
OpenBook, yeah.
Organically came together to build up a system, right, that they believe can help to kickstart the revival of Solana.
Open,
right? That to me
build
was
OpenBook, you said?
OpenBook.
What was this?
Yeah,
I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
You're not familiar? So in the rate of FTX, like okay, so a lot of early builders came to Solana because of Serum. We all believe that Serum and Solana will be like the performer Nasdaq on chain. So when FTX went down, no one knew whether the Serum upgrade authority has been compromised. So what happened was that Mango maxed their effort to revive it. We got Ajay the market made on it. We deployed a fork of Serum that was like controlled by the community. Jupiter started routing to it. There was liquidity on it. And that became like the first bright spot of Solana DeFi right after FTX. And yeah, I'm surprised you still remember it and talk about it. But
that was left a lasting impression for me. That was like, oh, this is the place to go. Even though it was like $8, I was like, oh, fuck, this is where we should continue.
Yeah, okay. I lied. I had heard about OpenBook, but it's not around anymore, right? It sort of has gone by the wayside at this point.
They released V2 and then V2 and V1 now immutable, and like it's still Jupiter sends orders there once in a while and stuff. Yeah. But it's no longer being actively developed because there's no way to actually make money or to sustain the team on that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. It's like a relic of history at this point. But it still is out there.
It was a rallying point. Yeah, but it's still out there. Yeah. Sometimes you'll see it on Jupiter when you swap.
It's a symbol. It's a symbol. OpenBook is a symbol, right, for the revival, right, of how people came together at dire times, right? So that to me was the spirit of Solana. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so speaking of Serum and FTX, I think if SBF was around today, and he might be let out of jail, who knows? I think he would be building a perps dex. I think he feels like the type of guy that would build a perps dex. That seems to be the really hot thing these days in DeFi. You guys mentioned meme coins. A lot of Meteora tech is, I guess, good for meme coins and so forth. But if you look at, I pulled up some of the stats here, like this is meme coins on Solana. You can see this bottom line, like meme coins aren't doing too bad. Like they're kind of around the place they were in mid 2024, maybe a little below currently. The same place it was last year. But what do you guys make of the perps dex trend? Is this something that you're going to try to more deeply integrate with? Is meme coins still kind of where you earn your keep at Meteora? Like, how do you think about those things?
We've been asked this question many times. Too many times. But I think like foundation, like what we really believe at Meteora is not meme coins. What we believe at Meteora is that DeFi will be around in 20 years from now, and DeFi will still need liquidity pools. Because if you do not have spot trading, if you do not have the simple ability for someone to buy and sell a token on DeFi, then you do not have DeFi anymore. And that's what we fundamentally believe in. And I think perp dexes may like see many variations. You may have like fully on-chain ones like Drift. You may have like hybrid on-chain, off-chain ones like Hyperliquid or like centralized exchanges. Like that will constantly evolve and change. The landscape will change. And we're not a team that is well catered to that. We are a team who just likes to push the basic building block of DeFi forward, which is on-chain pools. And our entire roadmap is like completely amazing in terms of what we can do with spot trading on-chain and making that better. Yeah. And we are still not being distracted by the shiny object we call perp dexes right now.
Yep. Yeah. It's all about
go ahead.
Building blocks. Yeah. No. Yeah. Just to reiterate. Our focus will never move away from really building up the core building blocks, right? Which is the liquidity piece of it, right? And because we believe that by building a very strong infrastructure, we open a gate to a lot of other teams to collaborate with us, and that will grow the pie much more. We accelerate the growth, right, rather than doing it ourselves, right? So infrastructure building, Lego blocks, making it easy for people to integrate. That will still be our core focus. if someone want to build a perp backs on us, sure, right, right, welcome, right, but probably not our core focus for anytime soon, or ever,
I'm interested why that is. Like, I feel like everybody's pivoting to perp dexes these days. Why not make a move in that direction if that's where so much of the money is, and BNB wants to put out Aster and all these things, like, why not move in that direction?
Yeah, I think it's just that, like, we love sport, and we want to build things over a long period of time. Like, if you're gonna build for 6 years, you don't know whether the hype for pop dexes will last 6 years. And what we do know is that 6 years from now, someone's gonna open a non-custodial wallet of their choice and swap A to B. Like, that will be around. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna keep building on. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's really practical reasons. It's a focus. There's so much we can do.
Too much.
There's so much we can do. And even with our current liquidity pools, right, I don't think we are done yet. We're not done yet. We're far from done yet. There's so many things that we can do to really improve the user experience, maximizing fees for the LPs and whatnot. So those things are what excites me, because I firsthand see the feedback from the community, the LPs, who constantly mention like to us, maybe like certain profits are like small profit, but a lot of them is life changing, right? So we've seen a lot of life changing kind of stories from there unexpectedly, right? So I think that's what get us out of bed every day, right? And so what I appreciate is that our team, the underlying motivation of our team is really to do something that can really impact the community and not chasing for some trends that everyone is building with no like immediate kind of returns to the community who has been supporting us all this while. So that's how we think about stuff and how we make decisions, right, on a day-to-day basis.
And then maybe just while we're on this point of your sort of vision or strategy headed forward for Meteora, you guys both come from Jupiter. Jupiter and Meteora, separate entities, but similar origins, I guess. And one of the ways that Jupiter has tried to capitalize on some of its success over the past couple of years is via acquisitions. It's acquired at like a lot, like a dozen companies at this point, and grown into a bunch of different verticals. Jupiter does have a perps product, like they did the perps dex thing kind of. Is that a direction you guys are going to go as well in terms of acquiring businesses, like growing out verticals besides the current Meteora dex offerings?
From a team building point of view, I personally take a more slow and steady approach. Yeah. Because I feel like a smaller size team like what we have now is much it could be more, I mean, for me, it's more efficient, effective, right, and much easier to work together with. I'm not saying that obviously the bigger size with proper structure, everything can work out. Just that you take a lot of time to actually build in the structure, right? But I personally prefer to work in a smaller size team and have a very strong focus in terms of what we want to build, right? So that's why, to answer your previous question, is like, why don't we expand out to perps, whatever, right? Of course, in the near future, if we decided that, okay, I mean, we have saturated the LP space, we've done everything we can, right? Let's branch out. Let's do cross-chain. Let's do perps, whatever. Then yes, we might have to consider to look at teams that are ready to come on board to just build, we might acquire. But at this moment, at least in the near horizon, I don't see a need for that. And our team is actually well experienced and well poised, right, to actually continue to show up the product that we have, right, and continue in this space. So that's how I think about it, at least for now. But I mean, who knows, right? In the future, things might change. But at least that's how I see from a team dynamics, team building and focus point of view. Yeah.
Cool. It is past midnight at this point, I think, Singapore time. So I want to let you guys go in a second here, wrap up. But I guess just before we close, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you think is important to emphasize about Meteora, or points that you'd like to make sort of with this larger conversation about the Meteora core business and TGE?
we are TG on 23rd. So come check us out, right? And for those who are interested to find out about LP, you can either ping us or go to lparmy.com, right? And then to check out all the awesome tech that we have. Join our Discord, LP Army, the LP Army Discord. You can find the link on lparmy.com. And there you'll be introduced to a group of really passionate, right, and welcoming LP members, right, who will help you out, right, and teach you and guide you throughout the whole process. So for us, really about the community, right? And we hope to see you there. Yeah, see you join us.
Great.
Yeah, I think for me is that like Meteora has been a small part of like making ICM happen on Solana. And in the past 6 months or so, when ICM started to like see its embers, Meteora, the protocol, has generated more revenue than Trump. So if you look at Meteora's revenue on the Blockworks dashboard, you can actually see that our revenue is consistent from quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. And what's amazing is that like a lot of people assume that Meteora made all its money basically from Trump and the token launches in quarter 1. But we've actually generated the same amount of revenue in quarter 2 and quarter 3 as well. So those numbers that you view is just Solana sort of accidentally discovering ICM for the first time. What we believe in is that the future will be tokenized. It will happen on Solana, and Meteora will continue to be the backbone of that as we've been the past 6 months, and we'll make sure that they ask that. And we will see what happens when we do and how exciting the future will be. Yeah.
And TG will be the first.
And TG will be
the
next
starting
step.
point. It's not the end, it's the starting of the new phase.
It's the starting of our next
Starting
phase.
of new phase.
One last thing, Breakpoint is happening in Abu Dhabi, right? On the December 10th, one day before Breakpoint, we'll be doing Meteora's largest community event. Hopefully you have 1,000 people, and then I can show this guy that we have 1,000 people. And then, so if you are going to Breakpoint, please come for Met Dhabi, which is Meteora's event.
Yeah. I just booked my plane ticket and I'm getting there late at night, sadly. But hope you guys have fun. But I'll be there as well. Out in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, we'll see you at the rest of Breakpoint.
Yes.
Then. Yeah.
Oh, you mean not going? Oh, you're not going for Met Dhabi?
Yeah, he arrives 10.
Oh, sorry. I was thumbs up for nothing. Sorry.
Thumbs down. Yeah. Great. Well,
I'll still see you. It'll be great to see you there.
You will. Soju, Zen, it's been fun. Thank you guys for making the time to come chat with us, and best of luck with kind of all the plans you have going forward at Meteora.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you made it this far in the episode, dear listener, we'd love if you gave this episode a thumbs up or a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoy Lightspeed, please share it with a friend, and we will see you all again very soon.